topic, which is about integrating critical thinking and digital connectivism learning theory in generating activities among final year ELT students, a case study in Oman ELT program. I am Wafa Al-Maawali. I have a PhD in e-learning at Rustaq from the University of Exeter in 2018. I work currently at Rustaq College of Education, the English Language Literature Department, and I also hold the e-learning coordinator at the college. So to start with my topic, my topic focuses on teacher preparation program, and it is considered one of the important programs for any university because it produces the teachers of all types of other professions and generations. The quality of that program will actually affect the quality of the human being, the nation completely. In particular reference to Oman, the landscape of teacher preparation program have expanded actually very vastly from in mid 90s, 20s until now as well. Actually, there were at that, in 80s, a lot of job opportunities for teachers, but by 20s, actually, that mobility was tightened in terms of limited seats available for teachers, and there was an increased competition for this job in Oman. And number two, the number of Omanis growth at school increased from 8% in 80 to 89 in 2008, and perhaps will reach almost like 1,000 in, currently. However, less is known regarding preparation of pre-service teachers towards 21st century skills. Critical for the critical thinking theory, there is also in its application in its relation to teacher preparation program, there was found out, there was a gap. Actually, in a review of publication from 2010 to 22 on teacher critical thinking skills, there was a gap in integration CT skills in language teacher education program. Also, teachers showed unclear or incomplete conceptualization of critical thinking, also at the level of application of that knowledge in practice. Two, less has been also is being confirmed with the teacher's CT skill and disposition. What is critical thinking? I will highlight Bloom's taxonomy, who divides cognitive thinking into higher and lower order thinking. The lower order thinking skills fall at the below of this pyramid, as you can see in purple and in blue, remembering, understanding. And the higher order thinking skills are here in green, and the top layer, which involves applying, creating, evaluating, and analyzing. And these are the most difficult ones. Not students have to be prepared and trained for them to be able to, effectively do them. While connectivism, I'll just keep it very short. I'll talk about its tenets and principles. So this is a new trend or theory that have been developed recently by Simon, and it advances more about digital integration of learning, how students are connected all together in terms for building their own knowledge. But these here are like a summary of its basic principles. Learning is multimodal. Two, learning resides outside formal education. Three, shaped by different experiences, long learning processes. Four, technology is an important tool. Five, individual organization of different knowledge. Six, learners should collaborate, connect with different people or different resources. 7, learning is not rigidly predetermined or stereotyped. It is more fluid and dynamic. The conceptual framework, it will involve connectivism learning theory, the principles. Also, principles of critical thinking skills are applied. We'll talk about digital affordances, what tools should choose. Well, actually, what tools to choose are the ones that students are comfortable with. And then with the focus on personal and collective relationships or connections the students tend to create. The focus of the current study is to understand the process of connecting with other members of the teaching community, which was leveraged through G Suite and WhatsApp. Connections created here are not as internet resources, but also between different members of the society, between different pre-service teachers, and how they creatively engage in critical thinking processes in groups to produce different activities. The research questions are: how do the digital platform mediate critical thinking and connection? 2, how do pre-service teachers of the ELT program engage in critical process? 3, how do pre-service teachers of the ELT program build connections and interaction? I have employed qualitative case study approach for the purpose to understand the processes. The different methods that have been used include the online platform texts that are produced on online platforms, trainers, reflections, to pre-service reflections, discussions, oral discussions. The sample is 54 pre-service teachers collaborated in 18 groups distributed at around 10 schools in one district of Oman. The methodology, the process of applying that at school involves for observation, then teaching, plus observation, plus discussion, plus reflection, and then after the teaching finishes, group discussions, reflections, and giving feedback. And all of this, alongside happens mediated in online through different tools. There are three things, important things. Number one is sense of collective identity, which was firstly at the school level. There was a transition of pre-service teachers feeling from bookworm to professional practitioner. Teachers here perceive themselves now as builders, constructors, evaluators, and owner of knowledge. They also voice their concerns as not being treated as equally as other teachers in any hired teacher at the school. Some pre-service teachers felt a sense of not belonging, and some of the pre-service teachers were isolated in rooms that are not really the teacher's room. At the level of collective identity among pre-service teachers, connections and interrelations between individuals are dependent on the social skills of the person himself. 2, the academic life at the college is advantaging individual performance, which allow little time for students to engage in CT skill development with the others. So they prefer to do the skill individually. There was a preference towards which particular others to connect with. So they will choose, well, I want to work with that one, not this one, and so on. And then at the level of individual identity, the previous service teachers were better at critically reflecting on their realities rather than transforming. So they were doing some more of lower order thinking skills rather than higher order skills. The second theme was reorganization of knowledge structure, which included creating a hub for creative ideas, and the least creative individual felt of inclusiveness and did not feel that they were alone. Teachers usually get asked for more teachers, like the teachers of those pre-service teachers usually are asked for help and support, but that was not sense during the this preparation during this among those students. Students voiced a sense of easiness and having a bank of ideas that can be called mental scaffolding for each other. As a result, there was a sense of relief, comfort, and less pressure in order to do the activities and assignments. And that really was like because they were sharing all together their work. The second theme was what is knowledge? Knowledge, not all knowledge is shareable. Easily constructed knowledge or process of learning or resources are usually shared, while creative ideas of activities, restriction, or new things were kept secret, were only shared with the supervisor for the consultation purpose. Pre-service teachers were selective in terms of support they provide. The support they provide while keeping some of created ideas for personal use. So what did we learn from this? Uh, sorry, this is the theme 3 in the analysis, academic performance. Collaborative interrelations were negatively perceived, and they were in clash with the academic performance. Why? Because of two reasons. One, attracting higher marks, and academic competition. Consequently, most half of pre-service teachers felt in disagreement with the basic tenets of working together and giving others their own hard work. Okay, so in order to develop a digital integration or integrated community platform, teachers should add sense of utility for the user himself. Two, teachers should not be also sorry the community should not be redesigned without this attesting the affordances that students comprehend of any technology. Three, designing platforms including appraisal of the social parameters of learning to highlight clearly how to connect with the others. Four, teachers should allow for more digital scaffolding, mediation, transforming, co-construction, creating. So different types of CT skills should be involved. Basic implications of the study. There should be a raising the level of preparedness and willingness as part of training. CT, critical thinking skill, digital literacy, collective construction of new knowledge. Two, students' ability to establish and maintain academic and social connection with members of the academic community should be enhanced. Three, critical engagement with material that is shared and exercised utilizing different concepts of higher order thinking skills and disposition. Four, sustainable platforms that are user-friendly and clearly extendable affordances to the users of learner. Five, seeking an update of traditional and alternative assessments to include dynamic demonstration of the acquired knowledge in particular subjects. Two words that should be directed towards CT skills and disposition. Suggestions for further research: develop critical thinking, connectivism, nexus in teaching, integration critical thinking into curriculum, advancing current outdated alternative in assessment with the trends of CT and open unlimited knowledge spaces, researching how interpersonal relations impact connections and how teachers reorganize such relations, scaffolded matter, and finally investigating individual collective identity around in CT situation.